right. Good morning, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here with our City Council President, Council President Mosby, not Council President, sorry, James, Councilman Torrance, my favorite Carver Bear, Councilman Carl Stokes, Councilman, I heard that. I'm listening to him and not you. Yeah, that too. Councilman Conway, Councilman Z. Cohen, and Councilwoman Odette Ramos, our City Solicitor Ebony Thompson, Muncie Director Mav Ronis as well. And last and certainly not least, the members of our Reentry Action Council who are here with us today. I am proud to stand before you today as we get prepared to sign City Council Bill 23-0416 into law, which will establish the Baltimore City Office of Returning Citizens, responsible for overseeing Baltimore's first ever Reentry Action Council and institutionalizing Muncie's current reentry work to improve the city's capacity to serve individuals returning home from incarceration. Establishing a dedicated office to returning citizens in Baltimore is absolutely necessary. While incarceration affects every part of the state, it tends to be concentrated in a relatively small number of geographic areas. Can you all guess what that geographic area is? It's Baltimore City. According to a report released by the Justice Policy Institute, while 9% of Maryland residents call Baltimore home, 40% of Maryland residents in state prison are from Baltimore. And if you drill incarceration down to the neighborhood level, what you'll find will literally break your heart. Every year, thousands of Baltimoreans return home from prison. Over 1/3 of the people in state prison from Baltimore hail from just 10 of our city's neighborhood: Greater Rosemont, Southwest Baltimore, Sandtown, Sedonia, Bella Edison, Allendale, Midway, Park Heights, Uptown, Old Town, and Brooklyn. The fact is, those of us who were born and raised here, we didn't need a report to tell us that because we all lived it. And we know that Baltimore City has this history of disproportionately being impacted by incarceration. Many of us have family and friends that have been incarcerated and struggled when they return home. In fact, the council president and I were held up at a press conference in Park Heights yesterday by one of my cousins who was incarcerated in the past. Maybe they faced challenges in securing employment, didn't have stable housing, and encountered barriers to transportation, grappled with mental health issues, and for some, the lack of adequate preparation for their return while incarcerated, coupled with the insufficient support upon reentry, contributed to their return back to being incarcerated. So we're here today as we begin to break that vicious cycle of poverty, crime, and mass incarceration by ensuring that our incarcerated residents have the services and support they need to successfully re-enter society. But we aren't just starting from scratch. Through Muncie, we begin laying the foundation for this work by standing up the Reentry Action Council earlier this year and implementing programs like Returning Citizens Behind the Wall, designed to reduce recidivism and improve public safety. This legislation will help enhance and codify these efforts into a dedicated office within Muncie to build on the progress we've made and reaffirm Baltimore's commitment to supporting our returning citizens. Today's bill signing reaffirms that our comprehensive violence prevention plan and commitment to the residents of Baltimore to ensure that we are doing the work to intentionally support our residents returning home from incarceration in order to reduce our recidivism rates and fully support the entirety of our communities. And with that, I will turn it over first to Council President Mosby and then the lead councilperson on this bill, Councilman Torrance, before we sign the bill. Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Please give it up for the mayor. We can do a little better than that. Please give it up for the mayor, for his leadership on this issue. Well, it was the mayor a little over 10 years ago who I went to say that I wanted to pass a bill at the time called Ban the Box. And it was It was one of the most progressive bills for fair hiring policy for returning citizens back to our city. And at the time, we had every publication take out editorials to say how the sky was going to fall. We had the business communities running in and out of City Hall, not really understanding and knowing what it would mean to their practices of hiring and their business line. And then we had folks that just simply said that, Baltimore would be a dumping ground for folks that were had criminal backgrounds. Well, we know that not to be the case more than 10 years later. What we knew then was empirical data. And where the data led us to believe and understand and know, not just from our own personal experiences of folks in our communities or folks in our family, but from real hard data that's from Baltimore City, that's from Maryland, from all across the country, is that when you invest in people and provide them real opportunities, no matter if they have past criminal transgressions, we understand and know that those individuals, one, became the best employees for those employers, two, the likelihood of them recidivate significantly decreased, and three, the residual impact not only to their families, to their communities, but to the city coffers just made sense. And we passed that bill. So to stand here more than a little over 10 years later, with Brandon no longer as the councilman from the 2nd District, but as the mayor of Baltimore, and with someone with the leadership like James Torrance as the councilman of the 7th District, the district that I came from, I am truly, truly thankful. Because this is about getting it right. It's not only getting it right for the folks who are the quote unquote returning citizens, but again, it's getting it right for their children. It's getting it right for their families. It's getting it right for the citizens of Baltimore. We can be a city that will grow, but to do it in a responsible way. And that's ensuring that we're providing everyone with the best opportunity available to them. The reality is our lives change every couple years. Month plus so ago, we had a catastrophe that happened to our region that none of us could have imagined. Those things happen on a regular basis. Well, imagine being away for 5 years or 10 years or 25 years and not being able to come home with real centralized support. Advocacy to ensure that your need and your want and your desire of doing right and putting your X's and O's in the right position for yourself, for your family, for your community, is not housed in one shop. Well, that's exactly what this bill's sponsor is. That's exactly what the motivation of the bill, and that's exactly why we have so many council members as well as the administration standing behind and supporting our mayor as he signs this bill today. So again, thank you to the leadership, to Mayor Scott. Thank you to the sponsor of this bill and your leadership in Councilman Torrance. And thank you to all the council members that work to support this bill. Thank you so much. And with that, I turn it over to 7th District Councilman James Torrance.
My heart is full today because I think about my mother. At age 5, we were displaced because my mother made a decision that became a collateral bar on her life. My mother died of cancer because she had a felony. She had a cap on her because the insurance company didn't believe that someone who was convicted of a crime deserved cancer treatments beyond $1 million. Her death led to my grandmother at age 50 retiring and taking care of me and my sister. This bill is personal because I serve people every day who have criminal records, who don't have a second chance, or truly, as we know as Christians, redemption. Last week I sat with men behind the walls, some who were lifers, one person who's been there for 37 years. He only knows what the world looked like at age 25. The conversation about what does it look like outside? What would I do when I get outside? And discussing as he thinks about his 18-month plan as he will be released next year, how we're getting him 3 months rent, a security deposit, how he's making $15 behind the walls now that he'll be able to use upon release. The opportunity to have a license, an ID, a birth certificate, a home to go to, and discuss with your family that you can see them again. This bill is personal because I represent Santel Winchester, where the largest portion of the persons return back there. Opportunities don't just open up for people who have made mistakes. We have to create them, and this is what this bill is about. My mother didn't have that chance, but it's an opportunity to provide that chance to every person who comes out of incarceration, whether you're a man or a woman. And there's more work we need to do, especially for women. We need a pre-release. There are women who come back home who become mothers right away. We need to figure out how we support them not only emotionally, socially, but also esteem them as mothers as they have to feed into children every day. I thank my colleagues for their support on this bill. It was intentional because we wanted to make sure this work's lived in the city of Baltimore beyond whether I'm in this office, the mayor's in this office, the council president's in this office. There's always a home for redemption in Baltimore, and that's what this bill was about. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Councilman, for your leadership and your leadership in vulnerability. It's not all. Oftentimes, people don't know that their elected officials live the same lives and have the same shared experiences. So, thank you for allowing all of Baltimore to see that. So, before we sign the bill, we'll ask our friends in the media if there are any questions. Oh, yes, sir.
Off topic, they want me to ask if there's any update on the 7-year-old zone.
No update that we can share publicly. We know the detectives are working and tracking down leads, and as I said that day, we will find the person who shot her and bring them to justice. Thank you very much. All right, now we'll get to the signing.